All right, good morning and welcome to the Saturday morning coffee chat. Today we're actually we're gonna watch a video about nutrition labels from the mindset or from the perspective of the creator of To Be Mindset, Ilana Muhlstein. And so we've looked at nutrition labels before in our coffee chat, but she kind of gives a few different ways to look at it and reasons why certain parts of the label are important to be looking at. And then we will just go quickly over this worksheet that I sent out in the email and look at a label together. And it's kind of interesting when you do that. I did a couple last night, did one this morning. So let's go ahead and play that and then we'll talk about it. And I will share my screen. Share. So this is from the monthly mindset mentorship. This month's video for October was reading food labels. So there's always a new monthly topic. I'd like to share them with you. And if you haven't, you may. Okay. So great information there. I love how she presents it. So just a couple of takeaways that I wrote down. And if something stood out to you, definitely I'll have you share. The first one, don't judge a product by the cover. Don't judge a food by the cover because it's marketing, and food companies are going to put the things they know you want to see or hear about a food so that it's okay to eat that food. And they can make certain claims that things are, heart healthy or low in fat, these kind of things that we just want to be careful of them, because then what we really want to do is flip it around and look at the nutrition label. The other one that was the serving size. I remember when I first learned this when I was younger, it's like, it changed my world. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that I needed to, like, there's this many servings in this container and I've been eating, like she said, half the bag of chips. I can't remember what it was that at the time that I was eating that. It's like, wow. So I love her tip about decide how many servings you're going to eat ahead of time. Even with that bag of chips, she's, likely there were 6 servings in there and you're not necessarily going to count it out, but you could get the little baggies or, Tupperware or whatever and divvy it out and just know and have that in your cupboard, one container of each bag, and just know, and those would be easy to grab and go as well for snacks when you're running, and not necessarily potato chips, but pretzels or something like that you like, that you want to definitely watch your portion size. And then fat. So I always get confused about it, but I know that there's 2 good fats, 2 bad fats, and the one she talked about, saturated fat. And I just remember, in my mind, I use the term sat fat because I think about the fat that's going to sit on my body, and I think about myself sitting with a big old butt. So sat fat, that's the bad fat. And then there's trans fat, which it's that hydrogenated oil. They add a chemical process of adding hydrogen to liquid oil, which the liquid oil is the good oil, so that it makes it more of a more solid consistency. So the 2 good fats are the monounsaturated and the polyunsaturated, and they're like our olive oils and our avocado oils, vegetable oils. So, so fat, that's important. And fat, we know fats, we have good healthy fat and unhealthy fat. So, and then sodium, just knowing that is an essential nutrient or mineral that we need, but we definitely typically eat too much of it without even realizing it. It's one of those things that on the label is like the sugar. We don't realize how much sugar's in there until we look. And the same with the sodium. So, and then, sodium, a lot of people don't realize that when you have too much, it's actually adverse to your heart health. So if you've ever had anybody in your family or you've experienced heart issues, that's one thing your doctor will look at, cholesterol and then sodium. What is your sodium intake? So, a lot of it, we just don't want to retain water, but there's, more consequences that happen when we're overeating sodium. So those are my takeaways. Anyone else have anything that popped out that she mentioned that you found interesting or
I never knew that there was sugar alcohol.
Hmm.
I never heard that before.
You don't see it a lot in the labels. I can't remember what she was looking at there.
They use it in candy a lot.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, well, that's why I don't eat candy. I'm a chocolate girl.
Well, it's interesting in a keto world, that's the substitute erythritol used in many of the products because Ken's keto. It's funny when she had the Rebel ice cream on there, and I was like, hey, Ken, she's got this. He goes, turn it up. I want to listen to it. You know, so yeah, it has the erythritol sugar in it, and he just loves that ice cream. But it does give you a lot of bloating, gas. I haven't had diarrhea from it, but it's a great substitute. But on the other hand, there's a consequence. So, but there's several brands out there that is a erythritol type of sugar. It's like Swerve has it, and Trivia, and different type. There's a whole aisle of stuff out there, but you got to really look at it. But I think it's just the relative amount you use and what you put in. I've used it in baking and to get that sugar taste, but that scone I made that with the erythritol, that's keto friendly. But boy, I got a reaction from it. So
Yeah.
Not worth it then, huh?
yeah. Sometimes it's like it is just not worth it. And I'm very aware of it now, being experienced with it, and I don't care for it. So, and it gives you that alcohol feeling if you have an abundance of it. So yeah, anyways. My takeaway was pickles as part of the sodium aspect, because I love pickles and sauerkraut, and I eat probably every other day or something just as a snack because I like pickles, especially in hot weather. But I didn't think about it retaining weight or the water, you know, because it is a salt-based type of food. But then I think of, I always get these mixed up, probiotic or prebiotic. It's a good source of that. So I should limited amount.
Yeah. So
I wonder if there's other ways that of pickling.
Fermenting.
Yeah. I wonder if there's other ways to do that pickling process that would be a little bit less sodium if you're making your own pickles.
That would be a good Google, like low sodium pickling.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, if you're growing your own cucumbers and stuff, I wonder if there is like a process that makes a lower sodium kind of pickle. I mean, I don't like pickles myself, but I wonder if there is a thing for a lower sodium.
Or the vinegars, the type of vinegars.
I mean, there must be. I mean, there's so many. I mean, you can buy vegetables with no salt. They must have come up with a way to make.
So that's a good topic. I wrote it down because we can talk about that, about fermented food, like the health benefits, and then, you know, things to take into consideration. And then how do you, if you like to eat a lot of, you know, fermented foods, how do you, you know, kind of balance out that intake of sodium versus, you know, maybe your water intake to keep.
Yeah, like rinsing it more or something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one thing I know when we pickle fish, you're supposed to really rinse the heck out of that. So.
And then some people put a brine of salt, a lot of rock salt and brown sugar to put that brine in for the fish sometimes before you dry it or smoke it or whatever. Yeah, it's a great protein, but what are we doing?
Right, and no nutrition label on that.
Yeah.
Any other takeaways on that little video? So if you're watching the recording, we watched the video from the To Be Mindset Mentorship on nutrition labels. So if you want to see that video, if you're watching this recording, let me know and I'll hook you up with that. I'll tell you where that's at. It's in your Beachbody On Demand library. So, okay, so the assignment 2 that I emailed out was the worksheet, and it was just really for your kind of like a little fun thing to do. Buy this, not that, and reading labels, the game of buy this, leave that. So I'm gonna share my screen because I actually, so here's the worksheet that was attached to the email. And it's just, you can look up on the internet labels. And so the first one, brown rice versus white rice. Brown rice has fiber, white rice does not. It's interesting because my husband was just telling me, have you heard about that brown rice isn't as healthy as people are telling? And so I think there's different types of white rice you can buy. If you just get the bleached rice, white rice, there's different white rices. So I would, if you like white rice, which my son will only eat white rice. Sometimes I cook brown rice and I put soy sauce on it before he gets out so that he thinks it's just white rice with soy sauce on it. But I will get basmati rice or jasmine white rice.
Jasmine.
Yeah. So the other thing that I looked up was plain unsweetened yogurt, fruit flavored yogurt. She mentioned this. So obviously when they add that fruit in there, that is like almost straight sugar. Like our fruit is a natural sugar, and then they usually have some sort of like a glaze or a jelly kind of stuff in there. So there's a lot more sugar in fruit flavored yogurt. Then interestingly, I looked up this one because I was curious of what the differences would be. It's not that steak is bad, but just what is the comparison? So in what I had looked up, 3 ounces of each chicken to ribeye steak, the fat difference was a lot different. So this is why when we say eat lean protein, and chicken is usually the lean one, and fish or turkey. And then even the protein difference here, I thought was interesting. So, 3 ounces of chicken is going to be your better option than the ribeye steak. I didn't look it up, and it would be another good topic, but how your digestive system processes the lean protein versus the heavier fat red meat. So I know when doctors recommend, 1-2 times a week maybe of red meat, but not every day because it is harder, I believe, to digest. I know when I was having digestive issues and I thought I was a very regular person, but the doctor said, every time we do a scan of your abdomen, your colon is full of poop. I'm like, really? And I'm like, okay. So more fiber, less red meat, more veggies, more. I'm like, okay, I thought I was, but okay. So, and then I wanted to look at this one together, low fat plain yogurt versus full fat sour cream. So you'll see on some diets, want for a better word, is they will tell you full fat is not bad. And the thing with that is when they have low fat or non-fat yogurt, things like that, what you want to avoid more is that when they take the fat out, sometimes they put fillers in or certain things to maintain a certain consistency. So it's important, low fat and non-fat, that you look at the ingredients. So let me just stop share because I want to share my whole screen real quick. And okay, so here's the sour cream. So this is Daisy sour cream. And so I muted you guys. So if you have questions, just unmute yourself and chime in. So here's the 2 tablespoons is the serving. It's 40 calories per serving. Calories from fat is 25. So this is 2.5 grams of fat. A fat gram equals 9 calories, in case you didn't know that, because sometimes they don't always put the calories from fat. But on this, you'll see, so this is full fat. It's cultured cream. Oh, it's skim milk. but it's 2.5 grams. It's only 2 grams of protein. And I think that's the bigger takeaway here. So this is the full, oh, I'm sorry, this is light. So there would be more fat, but still the difference, let's look at Nancy's yogurt. Now this is a low fat yogurt. So it's 140 calories per 1 cup. So you get more. It's more calories. Calories from fat is 25, but you get more protein here. This one has sugar. So Nancy's, we don't want to buy Nancy's. And I also pulled up though, Chobani, which is the one that I usually get. And it's a Greek yogurt. They didn't have one of those nice labels, but what we're looking at here is it's 130 calories per serving, 3/4 cup, 3.5 grams of fat. It's saturated fat, and your protein is 17 grams. And the other reason I like Chobani's is because it has, it's only less than 5% lactose, and that's what makes Greek yogurt the Greek yogurt. They actually strain the yogurt to remove lactose from it. So it's good for those of us that are sort of lactose intolerant. It's naturally low in sodium, and it has your probiotics that your body, your gut needs. And the probiotics is what your gut bacteria use as food. So
I just tried a Chobani Complete, which has even more protein in it. They're just refining it more. So that there's another, I got it at, it would be Fred Meyer's up in Alaska.
Right. Chobani Complete. That's good to know.
I wanted to go back to the video. One thing, the trick I really loved about To Be Mindset that Ilana suggested was getting your, she even does it at restaurants. If you get your salad dressing on the side, try to add a tablespoon of water and mix it up to thin it out and have more with less amount, or lemon juice. And we have lemon or lime juice here, and it just does make a difference, especially the consistency. You get this big glob of dressing, but you can just stretch it out. And that was a good tidbit there. And then I got this book from a good friend of mine. And it does talk about, it's a traditional food guide for Alaska Native cancer survivors. And it does talk about red salmon, canned, 3-ounce serving, has 23 grams of protein, but being a can, it's 332 milligrams of sodium. But if you use dried fish, it's 22 grams of protein, which is still good. And the sodium is only 73 milligrams, which is interesting because dried fish, sometimes you do brine it out, but maybe you just brine it real quick and then dry it. But I thought that was interesting. And then raw salmon, it's 19 grams of protein, and it's got its regular salt, 49 milligrams. So, and it's all based on 3 ounces of serving. But yeah, it kind of gives you all the different types of way you do salmon.
Show the page with the plate, that one that I.
Yeah, it's this is dated 2008, this booklet. And it actually does have the,
oh, we can't see it. Yeah, put in front of you. So it's interesting because it has sort of like a plate it method.
and that's what it says, plate it.
Yeah.
And it's plated as vegetables, meat, protein, and starch, which Ilana does fat fiber filled FFCs. So I was like, oh, I'll be doggone, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
just like it. So it just goes to show and reinforces it may not be something new, but it's something that got refined and you go through it. It's a sustainable way of doing just a diet, portion control, or thought process.
Yep.
Anyway, it's
Yeah.
really working.
Yeah, that's the bottom line takeaway, really. It's what everything we listen to and the things that we share here in the programs that we learn, and even in like the one that I shared about if you didn't watch the video, I kind of went on and on. Sorry. It's just about making your workplace more zen. And it really is just common sense, like logical things that are sensible, right? Like transitioning between the work and the home, and just not taking your work home with you, and listening to music that makes you feel good. You know, it's just those sensible things that no tricks, no, you know, hacks, really, no trying to like circumvent the way it was meant to be. And that's just to eat, you know, healthy food that doesn't have lots of chemicals, and eat, you know, correct portion sizes, and in a way that's going to serve your body. All right, so we have less than a minute. It's going to shut off. So I just want to say thank you for getting on the call. I've downgraded my Zoom so that it's only 40 minutes, so we don't go on and on and on. And so thank you for getting on the call. If you have any questions after this, something pops up, definitely let me or Deb know, and I'll put this recording in the page. And then go check out your BiteBite on demand. Make sure you're taking advantage of all the tools and resources that are in there. All right. Thank you, ladies. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to meal prep.
Bye.